Hey everybody, it's Jasmine, your brow expert. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's another series of me showing you guys the clients that I shape eyebrows for at the Anastasia Beverly Hills Salon. So some of you guys come by, gotten your brows shaped, gotten some tips along the way. So thank you for trusting me with your eyebrows. I still shape eyebrows there and I love it. I still love it. Been there for almost 25 years. And I enjoy meeting some of you, and getting your comments even on this really helps me. I'm able to reach so many of you guys. So if I'm able to help in one or two tips, then I'm doing my job. So thank you for those comments. That helps me to know that I'm doing the right thing. And yeah, and so subscribing also helps me to know that I'm doing the right thing. Today is going to be about, what is your favorite eyebrow? What is my favorite eyebrow? Obviously, it's this one. I say obviously because it has this natural arch. Part of it is because my muscles go up, so it just carries that arch up higher. And this side is naturally just much lower. I have an old brow tattoo, which you guys know by now, right? And I do have some brow microblading tattoo pros and cons, color choices, all of that, which artists maybe you can go to in Southern California. All on that in some previous videos, so scroll down and check that out. This brow is covered with some concealer, so I will be using some powder or pencil back and forth, but the main focus will be on this brow because we want the, I call it the sad brow, the not so favorite brow, to be more like the other brow. So let me bring in the model and you guys can see also on her the favorite brow. You ready? So as you can see, her favorite eyebrow has that nice flow arch. The other one is thin and it just kind of goes down a little bit. Part of it is also her eyes kind of go down a little. So everything is just going down a tiny bit. So we're going to make this one to be a little bit more like this. It's not going to be exact, but just raising the arch a little bit makes a big difference, and just having it a tiny bit thicker will make a big difference as well. So I'm going to put all my focus on that one. Now I did put a little bit of color on her favorite brow, and where I put that is right below here. See that area that I just showed you, and the white outline? The white outline is again where we're going to put most of the focus on, but that area right here, the favorite brow, I did lower a tiny bit just right here so that the arch isn't so high up. So if you have an arch that peaks up high, you want to lower that and just add some color below here. That's really all it takes, just to bring down the high peak arch and also just kind of level out a tiny bit with the other side. So that's important. Even though you might have a little bit more thicker, just lower it a tiny bit makes a big difference. So right here, I'm going to first go on the bottom part because she's missing hair right there, as you can see in that white outline. So what I did was just add a little bit. Now all the products are by Anastasia Beverly Hills. I will tag the products, and I'm going to try to list them as well, but they are tagged. And so right here, see the longest part of that angle brush 7B, it's going down. So that way you're letting the brush do the work for you. And sometimes I'll hold the brush this way as opposed to like right here. So if you hold it above your eyebrows and let the longest part of the brush go this way, it kind of does the job for you, because that angle of the brush isn't the angle of the brow that you want. See, look at that. See how I just lightly just pressed on her eyebrows, moved the brush, but I'm not kidding you guys, I'm barely touching her face. You know that because the skin's not moving so harshly. So by just tapping, I could even tap and just move, tap and move, you get a color right in that area. It just deposits a tiny bit, okay? Just a little bit. Notice that I'm trimming that piece of hair. Now, here's a tip. I'm not really encouraging you guys to go and trim your eyebrows because that does get a little bit trickier than pulling your eyebrows. But if you snip the tip, it actually creates a thicker look. I'm using the Pro Pencil base too. The Pro Pencils are great because they are an eyeshadow base, but they also can act like an eraser and a highlighter. So if you put a tiny bit underneath that area, it really just opens it up and just gives it a brighter, I would say like a cleaner look to the eyebrows. If you guys haven't used this little guy, I suggest you try it out. It's a to-go, great for travel, great to hide anything and show off. So I think it does both. Shows off, hides, it just does all kinds of great things. Okay, so as you can see, I went right there underneath that area, just kind of smooth it out a little bit. You can use your finger. I often use a brush 18 right underneath, but this, it's just a very nice, clean look. Now by that, you can, I already filled that area in. I went way ahead of, just way ahead of you guys, but just fill that area in. But you see that highlight in that sad eye? You can see that little area that you just need to put in color. Now, I'm using all kinds of different products here. I'm using the brow definer now. I think I'm going to use that on her as well. But again, see that white outline? That is the two areas that's very important. And by putting that base coat on, you could also use it as a highlighter. It separates the skin from the eyebrows, so that way you know not to put color in that area, because it's like the highlighter is separating. It's like showing you, don't put color there, just above there. Now, right there, the brow definer, that's another. Now, the reason I use the brush and the powder at first is so thin, the brush sharp. It just kind of maps it out a little bit. Now, you could probably just do that and not have to use the pencil. But if you want a little bit more color and you don't want to just struggle too much, you can grab the definer or Brow Wiz, but just kind of press on right in this area. I'm using the granite. You could also use ash brown. If you just do this right there, like I'm showing you, and notice I'm going above the eyebrows, not this way, okay? Because if you do this, see, you're just going head on. You're not using the side of the pencil. And that just, look at that. Did you see how it's coated on the bottom now? And it just stays very, very nice. And you know what? It's really good for combination skin when you're using like a pencil. If you're more on the drier skin, the pencil really does help as well. It just goes on nicer, as opposed to a powder, just kind of dusts away. But again, the angle of the brush, the reason again I use the brush first is the powder is that just kind of map out that little line, gives that faint look, but it really helps. Everything is about mapping out, if you haven't figured that out already. And so it just makes everything else that much easier, okay, when you're filling in the eyebrows, as opposed to just kind of freehanding. It actually makes you spend more time, and then you end up correcting some of those mistakes. So definitely work on maybe mapping it out. Now here I'm brushing the hair down. I'm not brushing my hair down here because I have no hair, but notice that I go up higher there. Now, again, this is the lower side. If you look at me, look at her, I just did that lower side to kind of level out at the other side. So I'm going right over here, the pinch of the nose, over the pupil or the iris. Right here's the arch. I'm just doing this, and then I'm going down. Now I'm laying the pencil down. You could also do this, but I think once you go up here above the arch, when you're going below, you could hold the pencil this way. If you're going up high, you're laying the pencil down as opposed to like straight. So you're laying it down, and then you're just going inside, just the way I showed you with her. Now look at that. When I brush up the hair, it now you're like, wow, it balances with the other side. That easy, you guys. It really is. If you just use light pressure and just work on those little areas first, really does help. And I'm just kind of going outside there. Everything is always about outside and up for me, because at my age, everything needs to be going up. Okay, so that is it. How easy was that? Pretty easy, right? Well, if it's not easy, I want you guys to practice at this, because the more you practice at it, you just know where your arch is and how to apply the color. So I'm going back and forth now. When you're applying color in areas where there's mostly skin, you're really going to need to apply a bit of heavy pressure, so that way it locks in there. Now this is clearly much darker because I have that concealer underneath. Now the brow gel, I always say, is important, always, because look at this. Now you can see all the strands of hair, right? So look at the before and after. You could clearly see she's got the hair, but with the brow gel on that lazy or the sad eye, it just makes a huge difference. I want you to see that before and after of that sad eye. It's not sad anymore. It's like lifted up. It's much happier, so much more even, with the power of little makeup, like tweaks here and there with the makeup right at that arch. So if you forget everything else, just remember, it's the bottom here going in an angle, and then most importantly, right up here, just to kind of level out with the other side. So pick your favorite brow and try to mimic with the other side, but know that it's not going to be perfectly like, even, because for me, I'm always like raising my eyebrow. And there's other factors too. You just have less hair from one side to the other, but making those two little areas right here on that lazy side or sad side makes the world of difference. I hope you try that out. Let me know if you have. Thank you for your time. And again, please subscribe so that way you get the latest video and all the tips I have for you. And share this with anyone that you know that has this uneven struggle. Uneven struggle. So thank you for your time. And I will see you guys right back here. Thank you.